Kent missed the opportunity to join Nottinghamshire on the top of the Group A table in the Yorkshire Bank 40 as they lost by 29 runs to Northamptonshire in Tunbridge Wells, the result giving the away side their third win in succession, thanks to Alex Wakely's first ever one-day 100. Put in by Geraint Jones, Northants made nothing more than a steady start with an opening partnership of 44 in the first 11 overs between Rob Newton and David Sales. Darren Stevens broke through in the 12th over, Sales flicking him out to Ben Harmison to go for 15. It was a bit of a stop-start beginning to the Steelbacks innings. They next lost Kyle Kurtzer in the 17th over when he was leg before, trying to work Adam Riley to leg. The game started to turn once that Wakely came to the crease to join Newton. They both found their range with sixes started to flow once they guided their side to a halfway score of 91 for 2. Wakely smashed maximums off consecutive overs from Riley and Stevens, and he was soon racing through the numbers, thankful now for the solid start given by those above him in the batting order. Newton had made a 50 off 70 deliveries, and Wakely soon joined him at the half-century mark, his arriving off just 45 balls with his third six, this one coming off the bowling of Callum Haggett. It was nothing more than a little push, which showed that the Northant skipper was timing the ball extremely well on a good pitch. Maximum number 4 then came in the 34th over, by which time Wakely had raced past Newton into the 80s. Shots like this saw the Steelbacks to their 200 in the same over. It was all going along rather nicely for them. Newton had by now recorded his highest ever one-day score, but as he went down to shovel Adam Ball for another boundary, he was hurt. He smashed the next ball for yet another 6, but then pulled up in even more pain and had to retire hurt, only 12 runs short of a maiden one-day ton. The ankle was the issue. But rather than upset Northamptonshire's rhythm, the hitting just continued, with new man David Willey driving the second ball he faced for six number 7 in this innings. Willey struck 13 off only 5 deliveries, but then to his 6th, he sliced another big hit off Matt Coles and was held by Sam Billings. He left with his side on 229 for 3, with 26 balls remaining. Wakely then passed his previous best one-day score of 94 and nearly took Haggett's hair off with a thumping drive, which took him to his maiden ton in this format. It was a scintillating century, occupying only 76 deliveries, his second 50 coming off 31. He struck 7 powerful 4s and 4 even more powerful 6s. He was out for 102 in the final over, but he'd seen his side to an imposing 263 for 4 from their 40 overs, 172 of those runs coming off the second 20. The Nevill ground is a fast-scoring one, and so Kent would have fancied their chances if they got a good start. In the end, they got one from Sam's northeastern Billings that was steady as they put on 64 in 13 and a half overs with some neat shots. This was the best of them, Northeast showing what a good eye he has by putting a perfectly good ball from Trent Copeland into the spectators. He tried something similar off Lee Daggett after making 41, but could only drag the ball off the wrong part of his bat to James Middlebrook. Kent carefully put themselves on top just about, courtesy of an excellent second wicket partnership between Billings and the informed Brendan Nash. They ensured that their side just about kept up the rate, taking few risks in the process and showing just why Kent have made such a good start to this season's 40-over competition. The total read 108 for 1 at the halfway stage, meaning that the rate needed to be stepped up in the second half of the innings, from which a further 156 runs were required, but with Billings going to a third 50-plus score of his one-day career off his 54th ball, Kent had every chance of achieving that. But in trying to push on, they started to lose important wickets. Having made 32 off 29, Nash skied a ball from Azarullah and set off for a run, not really knowing where the ball had gone. It landed in a tumbling David Murphy's gloves. 2 overs later, Billings on 57 lost his middle stump to Daggett, before Harmison tried to drive Matt Spreagle through extra cover, but found Willey instead. Kent still had hopes with Stevens in after his 58-ball 97 in a championship match on the previous day at this ground, but before he got going this time he was run out after taking on Azarullah's throw, which ended up being just too good for the heads-down batsman. Stevens left with his side on 149 for 5, and now 113 more runs were required of the final 10. That was going to be very tough now, even though Alex Blake hadn't given up, as he smashed 43 off only 24 balls. But Copeland, this season's leading wicket-taker in the 40-over format, still had overs left, and he used them well. Blake sliced a drive off him to Kurtzer just after the 200 had been registered in the 35th over. And after Coles had used his bat to a meaty effect to hit Azarullah for a 6. Copeland claimed 3 wickets in 5 balls to end the game. Jones was plumb in front. Coles was superbly stumped for 21, a mode of dismissal that the bowler probably hadn't had too often. And Ball was bowled as he tried to reverse paddle his second delivery. Copeland ended with figures of 4 for 46, leaving it to Willie to finish the game off in the last over by bowling Haggett. Northamptonshire had done it again, making it a hat-trick of wins. They took this one by 29 runs to overhaul Sussex and move into 3rd place in the Group A table. That leaves them 3 points behind leaders Nottinghamshire, but having played a game more. Kent are in 2nd, a point above the Steelbacks, but they've now played 2 games more than the top team.